Being a soldier is a difficult job in of itself, but when it comes to special forces, that's a completely different ballgame. The men and women who make it into these groups are the hardcore and disciplined. They're like regular Rambos with nerves of steel. You can place them in any environment or grueling terrain. Even the bloodiest war zones don't faze them. The training of these elite member forces go through will make you cry like a baby. These soldiers undergo the most psychologically and physically challenging tests to make them into the best of the best. Here are some of the reasons why you should never mess with special forces of these countries. Let's start with one of the meanest elite forces in the world, the legendary Delta Force. They make movies about these guys. These guys are the complete package. They are trained in counterterrorism, rescue operations, and taking down some seriously evil bad guys, like Somalian militia leaders and ISIS Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. Delta Force was started in 1977 by Colonel Charles Beckwith, and since then, the military group has seen action in deadly war zones like Eagle's Claw, when Iranian students stormed the US Embassy in Tehran, Operation Urgent Fury, when they were sent to Grenada to rescue political prisoners, or Operation Iraqi Freedom, when they went to capture Saddam Hussein. You have to be among the best to enlist in the Delta Force. The intense 4-week training program includes learning ways to withstand psychological warfare, various kinds of weapons training, hand-to-hand combat, covert operations, CIA tactics, management of secret information, espionage, marksmanship, and preparedness. One of the hallmarks of this course is a 40-mile march carrying a 45-pound rucksack over rough terrain, which is called the Long Walk. South Korea isn't all about K-pop and kimchi. With a neighbor like North Korea nearby, you need a force that is always on their toes 24/7. South Korea's elite force training includes a grueling body conditioning program that seems as if it's a rehearsal for a movie like Rambo or John Wick. South Korean soldiers are trained in the deadly Krav Maga style of fighting, an Israeli form of martial arts that involves brutal and lethal strikes meant to take out an enemy quickly and efficiently. Apart from that, elite forces in South Korea are also trained in the traditional Korean martial art of Taekwondo, as well as working with weapons like knives to hone their skills in hand-to-hand combat. South Korean elite forces practice several forms of physical combat involving weapons and under extreme conditions to prepare themselves for all sorts of possible threats. While BTS may be the face of South Korea, these are the guys keeping it safe. In case you didn't know, Delta Force is just one deadly covert part of the US defense strategy. The United States has other elite military groups that specialize in other things. Navy SEALs are another special group often considered the pride of the US Armed Forces, and you really don't want to mess with these guys, even if they're off duty or retired. You won't make it into this elite unit if you don't pass something called Hell Week. Hell Week is the Navy SEALs BUD, or the Basic Underwater and Demolition Training, which takes place in the third phase of their training. Navy SEALs definitely deserve the distinction of being elite forces because it was this unit that was sent to Pakistan to take out America's public enemy number one, Osama bin Laden. According to retired SEAL Admiral Bill McRaven, there's only one thing you have to do in SEAL training, and that's not quit. Hell Week really lives up to its name. Potential Navy SEAL candidates only get to sleep 4 hours during the whole week while undergoing 6 days of cold, brutal operational training that tests a soldier's mental and physical endurance and challenges them to endure cold temperatures, mental stress, and sleep deprivation, with only their determination and desire to succeed to keep them from giving up. Hell Week also includes 200-mile runs carrying a boat, swimming for hours on end, hundreds of push-ups, lifting log sessions, and so much more. All these tasks are completed while under fire, as instructors constantly fire blanks overhead to simulate being under attack. Only 25% of candidates survive Hell Week, making it the toughest training session in all of the US military. Here is another elite force group that rivals the Navy SEALs in toughness. These guys are the KGB created Russian Alpha unit, and they are completely insane when it comes to taking care of a mission. If you've seen the movie Universal Soldier, you probably have a good idea of what these guys are capable of. They're highly skilled, cold-blooded, accurate, and brutally methodical. The Alpha Group is famous for their timely action during the Black September attacks in the Munich Olympics in 1972. It was the Alpha unit that also led the invasion of Afghanistan, along with another Russian special force unit called the Zenith Group. In that situation, a contingent of 700 troops attacked the Taj Beg Palace in Kabul, bringing it under Russian control. Over the years, the Alpha group has gained a notorious and vicious reputation. This was exhibited in 1985 when the Islamic Liberation Organization captured 4 Russian diplomats in September of 1985 and executed 1. The Alpha unit sprung into action. It said that they ended up taking relatives of the terrorists hostage and sent package to other family members. And you don't need us to explain what was in them. When the Alpha unit trains, there's no messing around. They practice under live fire, which is why they are considered one of the world's most dangerous elite forces today. Taiwan is a small country, so you might wonder why they would need an elite fighting unit. If you consider that they have a powerful neighbor nearby with a history of ignoring sovereign territory, however, the idea of having some specially trained soldiers isn't that crazy. The type of training you've seen so far can be easily matched by the Taiwanese Marine Corps, who have to go through literal torture to make the team. Candidates intending to join the Corps are required to complete a grueling 10-day amphibious training course, much like the US Navy SEALs Hell Week. Soldiers in Taiwan are forced to crawl more than 160 feet over jagged coral rocks called the Road to Heaven in nothing but a pair of shorts. The idea is to simulate a rough beach landing and for soldiers to conquer their pain. In fact, they actually chant, "I don't feel pain," as they crawl on their hands and knees over the razor-sharp coral rocks. These guys can't rest or gather their wits during the road to heaven. And what's worse is that if the instructor isn't happy with their performance, they have to start all over again. And just to add injury to more injury, they also have to pour salt into their wounds. I mean, talk about cruel. But do you think that you're up to the challenges these guys face? Would you be willing to go head-to-head with any members of the groups we mentioned? Let us know what you think in the comments below.